Okay, welcome to Chapter 5, Lesson 2. This is going to be all about estimating products. And they talk to you about that right here at the top. They said the word about tells you to estimate. When you estimate the product of two-digit factors, it's always helpful to round them both. Okay? So let's look at the first example. A hamster sleeps 14 hours a day. About how many hours does a hamster sleep in 3 weeks? Well, first we need to convert our 3 weeks to days. There are 7 days in 1 week. So we know that there are 21 days in 3 weeks. So we are going to estimate 21 times 14. So, step 1. It says 21 rounded to the nearest 10 is, 20. And 14 rounded to the nearest 10 is 10. So, based on what we've already learned, we know that our basic fact, 2 times 1 is 2. And you ask yourself how many zeros are on your factors. And we have 1, 2. So that means we need 2 zeros on our product. So 20 times 10 is 200. So a hamster sleeps about, remember, because we're estimating, about 200 hours in 21 days. And they did something really cool down here. They drew 2 boxes, and the first box is the actual product, 21 times 14, and the blue box is our estimate of 20 times 10. And so if you can imagine laying the blue box over the yellow box, you can see that our estimate is smaller than our actual product. All right, so you're going to need to be able to tell us if it's greater than or less than the actual product. All right, so let's look at our next example. Okay, it says Tanya spends about 35 minutes playing at the park each day. About how many minutes does she play at the park in 38 days? So we're going to need to estimate 38 times 35. So we're going to round each factor to the nearest 10. That we are channeling our skills back from, I think, Chapter 2. So 38 rounded to the nearest 10 means we're rounding up to 40. Yes. And 35 rounded to the nearest 10, because remember, 5 or more raise the score, is also going to be rounded up to 40. Okay, so let's look at our basic fact. 4 times 4, we should all know our 4s. 4 times 4 is 16. How many zeros were on your factors? 2. So we need 2 zeros on our product. So Tanya spends about 1,600, or you can say 1,600, minutes playing at the park. Since both factors were rounded up, the estimate is going to be greater than the actual product. And here they did the cool blue and yellow box thing again. Here's your actual product, and then the blue box is our 40 times 40, which was our estimation, and you can see that the blue box is bigger. Okay, so this might be an excellent strategy for you guys to check to see if the actual product is greater or less than the estimation. Okay, and they did give you a hint up here, you guys. You need to remember that if one factor ends up being rounded up and the other one rounded down, it is not going to be obvious. Okay, it won't be obvious whether the estimation will be greater or less than the actual product. Okay, so let's do one guided practice, and then I'll leave you guys to practice. 57 gets rounded to the nearest 10. Well, it's 57. We're very close to 60. So we record 60. 25. The rule is 5 or more, and we have 5 there, so we're going to round up to 30. And again, I ask you, what's our basic fact? 6 times 3. We know our basic fact is 18. And ask yourself, how many zeros on your factors? You say 2, and you also say to yourself, then you should have 2 zeros on your product. Now, we rounded both of these up. Okay, so we have to circle whether the estimate is greater than or less than the actual product. So this was actual, okay, and this was our estimate. All right, so our estimate, we rounded up both, so our estimate is going to be greater than our actual product because of these numbers are both larger than the math problem, the multiplication equation that we began with.